guys, welcome to Data Speak, listening to your data. Our topic today is creating your first pivot table, PivotTable 104. So if today happens to be your first time in the channel, please, I would like you to click and subscribe. So without wasting much of your time, let's jump into what we have for you today. Now, this is the data we're going to use in creating our first pivot table. Now, one of the assumptions of data structure using pivot table is that the data needs to be clean and well structured. So if you've not watched our previous videos where I explained the data structure and the benefit and advantage, I would like you to try and watch it so you get to know what I'm saying. So the data needs to be clean, structured. Now, there are two ways of launching pivot table. One is to click on any cell within the data range, go to Insert, click on Pivot Table. It says by so doing, Pivot Table will not take the range of the data. Pivot Table will not take the range of the data. Now, another way of doing it is to highlight the data. Let me just highlight from here and go to Insert, click on Pivot Table. A pivot table now will work based on what you've highlighted. Now, there is something I want to explain. If you are someone who works with data, before, what I normally do before I start any analysis with the data, I normally first of all go through the data, scan through the data, see what the data is all about, the rows and the columns. Now, for example, if I launch the pivot table right now, if you check the range, the table range is telling me from A1 to P88. But I must tell you that this data is more than 88 rows. This data is more than 88 rows. Now, you see, in between 88 and 90, there is an empty row. So therefore, once you click and end of the cell and launch the pivot table will take the first range. Because why? This empty row separated that is telling pivot table that, okay, now we have two data. And if you go ahead and begin to do your analysis, you find that at the end of the day, you're going to have a wrong result. So what I encourage you to do is that before you proceed in doing your analysis, first thing first, try to check your data. So this is how I normally do it. I first of all will just minimize everything, reduce the font size, then I'll scroll down. And I see why I'm scrolling down. I notice that there's an empty row. Now the first thing first, if I'm not the one that generated data, I need to ask question. What happened with this record? Was it a mistake? Was it deleted intentionally? Now I need to get a feedback. If they say, oh, sorry, it was a mistake, okay. It's okay, that means I need to do what? I need to take off this empty row. What I need to do, I just right click and do what? And delete it. Then I will continue scrolling down to see if there is another empty row. Now, the range of our data is 701 rows. So I've gone through it and I find that, okay, my column headers are all okay and the rows are all fine. And I will now go ahead now to do what? To launch the pivot table. Now this time around, if I launch the pivot table, it's going to take the full range of the data, which is what? A1 to 701. Now, the next question comes. The question we have now is that this pivot table you want to create, where do you want to launch it? Do you want it in a new worksheet or on an existing worksheet? Now, what does that mean? Let's go with the existing worksheet. When I click on existing worksheet, what I simply means that I'm going to give him a location in the same worksheet I'm working on. For example, I'm going to give him U3, sorry. If I click OK, you find that the pivot table will appear on the same sheet where my data is. Now, the disadvantage of this is that by the time I begin to design more pivot table and create chart, it will become jam-packed. It will not make the work look nice. So what I normally do, I normally go for the second option. Let's go back. The second option, which says, take me to what? To a new worksheet. To a new worksheet. So I'll click OK. Now it will take me what to a new worksheet. Now this is a pivot table environment. Now on the right hand side, we have what we call pivot table field. This is what we're going to be doing our click and drag. You see here we have what we call filters, columns, rows, and value. Now, before you proceed in using pivot table in doing your analysis, there are questions that you need to ask. 3 questions you need to ask before proceeding. One of the questions is that, what do you want your column headers to be? What do you want your column headers to be? The second question is that, what do you want your rows header to be? What do you want your row header to be? And the last question is that, what data do you want to analyze? What data do you want to analyze? Now, I will explain this 4 column with the help of an example. For example, now I want to check sales by month. I want to check sales by month. So what I do is that I'll click on month and drag it to rows. Then I look for sales. I'll drag it to value. You see now, what it did is summarize that in January we had so and so sales. So if you notice that I took the value section, the number section, to the value section, then the month I brought it to the rows. Now you can also interchange, put these rows in the column, but you see, yes, it will give you the same thing, but the data structure, it will make sense. It will make sense. Just looking at it, everything is in column. Now, since you want to know the sales by month, now we can take this one back to the rows. You see, you can maneuver, you can drag and put and make use of what? Of the columns and the fields and everything. What you simply need to do is just to click and drag. Now, on the filter section, for example, I'm interested to know which country. I'm interested to know what is the sales for France. Suppose your manager comes and say, I need the sales record for France only. I'm interested about France. I want to know. So what you need to do is that you just click on the country, drag it to the filters. Then you come here, okay, the manager needs France. I'll click on France and I click OK. Right now, the information I have now is what? The sales by month for what? For the country France. For the country France. Now, you can still go ahead order and add more fields to the value, to the rows. Like for example, now I want to check the cost of goods sold, I can put it. I want to check the profit, I can put it. Now we have sales, we have cost of goods sold, we have profit. All these are still showing forward for France. Then on the row aspect, I would like to say, okay, let me check by segment and see add another one. Now you see it breaks it now in January. In January, we have what? We have how many segments? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in January, the channel partners would make such sales of 18,519.12. And the cost of goods sold were 5,202. And the profit is 13,317. You see? Now, another thing again you can do about PivotTable, you can also rearrange this thing. When you do it here, it automatically affects. Before, we were looking based on months, and we see the segment. But right now, the segment now we look okay in channel partners segment. What are the sales by month? You see, that is how you can play with PivotTable. It is very easy. It is very easy. Then in terms of the filter as well, you can also add more than 2 or 3 columns to filter. Okay, for example, now since we are looking at just France, now which of the product in France is making us higher sales? We can check. Let's look for Montana. What right now we have just the sales for Montana. We have just the sales for Montana. So this is how pivot table is being done. And if you want to take the value out from the from here, you can click and drag, or you can just uncheck all of them. And when you do so, all of them will go. And if you want to do the another way that, for example, now if I just click on sales, if I just tap on sales, now because sales is a number, it will take me to the values section. Now let's see for measures like segment. When I click, it will take me to the row. So pivot table already knows where each of the columns go. Each of the column go. Let me click on country. Let's see what happened. It will take you to the rows. Then it's not left with okay. Let me see all this by what column. You understand? So right now we are looking at what? We are looking at sales by channel and country. By channel what and country. So this is how pivot table works. It is very easy and it is and flexible. So this is what we have for you guys today. I hope you grab something. So the data I'm going to leave it on the comment section so you can practice as well and keep yourself busy. So this is what pivot table is all about. And like I said, the topic says creating your first pivot table, which this is what we have finally achieved. So guys, thanks for watching.